And a good midday Monday to you, Roger Hill of Wuthering Heights. This weather video is driven by 802cars.com, representing 802 Toyota, Twin Cities Subaru, and 802 Honda. They are all located off of exit 7 on Interstate 89. Picture at large here, a couple things to show you here. First thing we're going to talk about, this will influence us very late toward next weekend, and this is Tropical Storm Pamela. It's modeled and projected to spin up as a Cat 1, Cat 2, and Cat 3. Not too far off from La Paz, Cabo San Lucas region, Mazatlan, Hermosillo, and cut across Mexico. Its moisture will then get pulled across and eventually into the northeast United States as a temperate weather system. It'll be one of these systems that will be working across, and eventually it'll guide up and begin to work across our neck of the woods here up in the northeast United States, and that'll be the next real significant shot of moisture. Looks like precipitable water metrics, for example, about 2 to 3 sigma standard deviation. So a little chunk of little hepped up moisture will be arriving, it looks like, next weekend. We're talking mostly on Sunday and a little bit beyond the period here. In the meantime, generally near normal or a little bit below normal in some locations, a little bit above normal in others. But the overall trend is that this time of year, typically we do not see a tremendous amount of precipitation over a 5-6 day period. But needless to say, we're going to be right at normal for that. And that's kind of a little bit on the drier side. Now, we also have anomalous temperatures. As you can see here, our temperatures are pretty warm for basically this date. In the 70s already this morning where the sun is shining. We have a couple different weather systems just to go back to that. In fact, I'm going to show you wind gusts just as well. So we have a pretty good energy here in the jet stream levels that are going to be working across this upper level trough. Another trough of lower pressure that has kind of moved on. The first lead system is producing a considerable amount of severe weather across the mid-Mississippi Valley, and that's moved out of Oklahoma and whatnot. And there's some thunderstorms loaded up in this particular weather system. This is not going to be arriving for us other than just some scattered showers on Wednesday. And then after Wednesday, it looks like we have the possibility of seeing a couple isolated showers Thursday, a little bit more widely scattered shower activity on Friday, and then on Saturday and into Sunday this coming weekend, a much more unsettled conditions and a pretty sharp cold front to end what is this warm, anomalous week. Let's take a look at the incrementals here. And looking at the models, that's valid through the rest of this afternoon. So we have this ridge of higher pressure, kind of a couple different bubbles here, or cells that are actually the main part of the area of higher pressure, but more off just a ridge. And that's going to be the influencing control of our weather. There's one bubble of higher pressure that forms, and this is valid tomorrow morning. And we're keeping weather systems to the south of us at bay, to the north and west of us at bay, until they kind of break down that ridge, that weak ridge of higher pressure. And this is the first incoming precipitation. This is valid during the afternoon on Wednesday, and a little bit more across northern areas. Then that moves along. Then we have this kind of weak frontal boundary that's going to set up, and some of that moisture coming in from that tropical storm Pamela off of Mexico is going to be arriving just about the same time as this jet stream energy working across Canada, much more significant up in the northern areas now. And then that gets in here and it produces a few showers. That's valid on Friday. And then this is the moisture coming in from the remnants of Pamela, subtropical Pacific moisture that worked its way north off Mexico and then made a right turn and then crossed into, well, North America. And here it is. This is valid about Sunday. That sweeps on out, and then beyond, we start to get a little bit colder in the weather pattern overall, and this will be the clearing influence and the main sort of pivot point, if you will, after that moisture moves on by in that more significant temperate area of low pressure. This morning's GFS ensemble shows you basically the 3-hourly QPFs with the main precipitation working in on Wednesday, and as I described, a pretty good match with the European. And then we have this system here over the weekend, which is the more concentrated moisture. Now, that's 3-hourly QPF. What about the total amount of total precipitation? Looks like this. And we're still above, or below, I should say, 1 inch amount, so you can see that it's not a tremendous amount here. And checking precipitable water, you will notice an uptick here. And then as that colder air and drier air mass begins to work in, you see a pretty good downtick. Total amounts from the Weather Prediction Center, you can see that the green line here is about 1/2 inch. This is 1/4 of an inch. And this is a 7-day total, so this goes into the weekend and into next Monday. And you can see about 1 inch amounts is about all we're looking at here with that push of that moisture coming in from the remnants of Pamela. And looking at the 2-meter temperature anomalies here, this is the way it's setting up with much above normal temperatures across the parts of Canada, even the Hudson Bay, just all of the, right from the Arctic region on south and the eastern parts of North America, and a good portion of the Atlantic Ocean as well. The eastern Pacific is the opposite, and we have a big trough of lower pressure funneling cold coming in down from parts of Siberia, more or less through the Aleutian Islands over the Pacific Ocean and into the west coast. This is where most of the storminess has been, and they're getting a pretty good snowfall in this general area here with the current setup right now with that vigorous trough of low pressure. However, we're not going to see any of that. This cold will take all week long before it gets into the East Coast. So the net effect here is that we're going to see 2-meter temperatures make a nice rise, a little bit of a dip, a second rise, and then the temperatures are going to start to fall once we get into this coming weekend along about Sunday, and then those temperatures will make a fall to more seasonal levels. And we're talking about daytime highs here that'll end up probably not too far from 50. Right now we're looking at 70 to 75 degree weather for the next 3 days. And much like precipitable water, what you can see here is our temperature dew points, again at 2 meters surface. Generally in the 50s, just enough to support maybe a little bit of thunderstorm activity when that moisture from Pamela works in along about Sunday or Saturday night, and then a drop off in temperature and much lower dew points. As far as 850 hectopascal temperatures go, it's all above 0 degree isotherm up until this time here, very late in the period, but I wouldn't count on that. Much has been discussed previous, pretty much warmth in the east and colder weather in the west, as far as 18 degrees below normal in some of the high plains and areas around Wyoming, Montana, Central Rockies. And they're going to get some pretty decent snowfall here, over 1 foot amounts. Now in the east, nothing to worry about there. And then 3 days later, these are maximum high temperatures only. You can see that the intrusion of colder air spreads eastward now to the Mississippi River, but still above normal. 3 to 7 days of these are the daytime high temperatures from Meteorological Output Statistics, or MOS. Now in the tropics, not a whole lot to worry about. We have a couple disturbances, this one in the Caribbean Basin south of the island of Hispaniola. Another one, about 20% chance of a spin up over the next couple of days indicated here. And stuff we'll have to keep a little bit of monitoring here in case they start to turn north and east, but these are looking pretty benign right now. And looking at the antecedent conditions on the 10th, yesterday, Sunday, we have a slightly above normal soil moistures, kind of good indicators of where it's very dry, and we continue right across the northern tier regions, northern parts of New England, adjacent Canada, seeing drier than normal conditions. You can kind of see just how dry it is across parts of California, of course, and then across the northern tier regions. Wettest is where this upper level low has been spinning away, providing a lot of inflow out of the Gulf of Mexico, and they have much above normal soil moisture right now, and a little bit of that across southern New England. I'll end it there. Roger Hill, Wuthering Heights. Thanks for watching.